Right, hello everybody. I showed a couple of pictures on, Instagram about with the books. Not books, with the little pouches. I haven't totally finished yet because the journal's not totally finished yet. So I was going to wait and then, you know, put a nice ribbon round or a button and then a tie or something. Okay, but I showed these and there was a few people wanted a tutorial on these. So I've gone ahead and done one, and I've incorporated sort of like the colours that I'm going to be doing in most probably April. So I'm thinking ahead, and it's quite a soft sort of journal. You might see it because what I've done some of the videos and now I've gone back to say you sort of things that you need, because I don't think I said that. I just got into the journal because, and anyway, you just use scraps and things like that, you know. You can cut some up as well if you want some pretties in with it, but I tend to sort of base it on scraps, and then most probably too high. Okay, and then cut strips of paper. This is how I do my snippets. So I usually go 3.5, 4 inches, this one, and do loads of them together. And then once you've got them made, they can either, like I said, I think I showed my snippet roll and everything else, but I didn't say the width that I've done there, I don't think. So that is what I just thought I'd let you know. So it's like the beginning of the journal, and you can add sort of bits of fluff. Anything really, as you will see what I've got when you see the video. You had to excuse my, I noticed on a part of it, because I just made sure that you could actually see what I was doing. It's not too bad. I mean, you know, I've seen better videos with people sewing, but that, you know, I'm new to that sort of thing with my machine, and I do have to move everything to get it in view, because it is at the side of me, but I don't think you'll be able to see where I am, not with the arm and setup I've got. Anyway, I did notice my floor and there's quite a funny story to my floor, because it looked really worn away and awful. What it was, I had used to be varnished before, and it was brown, and I just felt as though it made my studio quite dark. So I said to my husband, I want it painted white. He says, Andrea, he said, you're on your chair, it'll wear away, and you know, it won't look good for long. I said, I don't care, I just want it white. So of course he painted it white, but he's right. The paint wore away under my chair and I have no paint whatsoever on the floor there, so you have to excuse that. So just ignore that bit. I know you'll all be looking for it now. The poor man's floor, I'm calling it. Anyway, okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. I tried my hardest to get most of it in, and you know, that's about as good as it gets, I'm afraid, with me and sewing. So people that are sewers out there, please shut your eyes. Okay, take care, bye. Right, I'm hoping this will work. Yeah, anyway, we'll see. I've got some bits here, so I thought I would show you what I do. It's all Scrabble bits. I want a sort of pinkish one, but I don't want too much pink in it, if you know what I mean. So it's going to be more sort of creams and whites and beiges, but a little bit of pink here and there will be okay. So this is all tiny, but a lot of them are cut into strips, okay? You know, like this one. Hold on, I'll get that out of the way now. So if I got to cut any, I'll cut them into strips. Let me just see. I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, I'll have a bit of that as well. That's not supposed to be in there. Right, okay. And I got me lengths of fabric, whatever length I is, because you can join them together. Right, let's have a look. So what I do is, say, because these are cut down, I will do this sort of thing, and I do want a bit of this in it, because that is gonna be the cover of the journal. So I want one end with a bit of pink there, and you do trim this off, okay? And I don't mind if that's all wonky like that, and you can actually sort of put a bit of that over the top as well, which can look nice. Yeah, and then I find this is the easiest way. I've done it all sorts of ways. I've got videos on it. I think I've done with spray glue, I've done the iron-on stuff and everything, but I find this is the quickest way. Okay, especially to create a really nice... Oh, I've got a bit of a wobble on, sorry. Right, I think I got rid of the wobble. It was the other corner, so it was off the glass mat a bit, so I've just put some paper underneath it. That's a good start, isn't it? Ooh, cotton broke. Yeah. Right, let's thread this up. Okay, and then we just go to the end. Just picking them up, and then I'll turn it around. I mean, you can sit and hand sew these on. My sister does a lot of that. Yeah, but I don't. I haven't got time for that. And at night, I tend to do my digitals, so I don't have time. So what I'll do, I'll go right across that now and pick that up. Okay, so you can always fill in holes. And just keep turning around. And you can really get going with this. You know, you really can. I'll tuck that under there because that's quite nice, that edge, isn't it? So just going to go over there a bit. I'm really not in the right place for sewing, but right, I'm going to try a different angle now. See if we can work with that. So what I'll do, I'll just show you, you know, this is what I do, and then you just carry on and do loads of them. If you've got a hole, when you cut all these bits off, you can reuse them on this. Okay, and if you don't have these too long, they're just easier to work with, and also you feel like you've accomplished something because you've actually used, you know, finished something. I'm going to put some fluff in a minute, so go down there. I think I can go straight now. I'm not twisted. Yeah, my back was killing me then. I've got it on quite a slow speed because I've been sewing something thick, so that will be all right. Right, let's... Oh, I love this so much. Got to put a bit of that on top. Right, let's have a look. I might have a bit of that. Let's tuck that under there, like there, and then something like that there. Tuck that in, and this is where your net really comes in handy. And then I'll just do that. Okay, and we go down. Right, instead of, if you want to tuck anything underneath, I use a skewer. I'll just skew that up. Let's pick up some of that. So you have a little bit of pink. Ooh, I'm going to put a bit of that in, but I'm just literally want a little bit of that because it's quite a strong colour. Okay, so you fill in, okay, and oh gosh, you could do as many of these as you want, okay? So you fill in and do that, and then I shall come back to you. Right, a little bit about how much you would need. All right, I've just done one at the moment because, like I say, I've got these ones done, but these are too thick for the actual clutch bag. These are done for journals because it's got padding on. Okay, but I'm just sort of going by what we use. This one was a bit short because these were already done, you see, and we cut them up. So this one was a little bit short on the pocket, this bit here, because this bit all the way around to here is one piece, yeah, and then that's another piece, all right, and then this is another piece, all right. And that's why it's quite easy, handy if you do things like this. You can go, because once these are cut down, you know, you can get them to fit how big you want them here. I found that, the other one I done, I put a little bit of elastic in, and which I'm gonna undo that one and put a little bit of elastic in there. Okay, could have done it with a little bit tighter. The first time I've ever done that, so all right. But that's about exactly the same because it's the same size journal. But this one was slightly bigger, so we had enough here. But that's never a problem because, like what we've done here, we just added a piece of lace, yeah, to make it fit. All right. So the length I've got here is a good length too, to go, say, all the way around when we cut it down. So we've got plenty left there. Okay. So again, but that will be depends what size your journal is, which I'll show you all that, you know, once we've got these made. But I'm just showing you what we need. All right, so I reckon, let's have a look, 2 of those would make thing, and then the other bit will make most probably the front pocket of that. I would say do about 4 of these. It might be too much, I don't know, but I'm going to do 4, okay, and we'll go from there. Because what you do, you put this on, you tuck the other one underneath. That's why I don't cut all this off. I'll cut the top where I want the top to be, but I'll leave that. So when you put the other one underneath, this all goes over, and it's all different lengths, yeah. And you find that you don't see no straight lines. If you cut all this off, then you're in a little bit of trouble. But I will cut some of the top off because I'll use this. Oh, and when you these sort of things, like I've left it, you know, not too bad here, because you can always add something and put a few stitches over. Do you know what I mean? Do your little bit of hand stitching. But I'm actually quite, you know, like here, for instance, I would most probably go over that later, right? Just with a little bit of stitching. I don't want loads and loads of stitching on it, just in case of adding things, because the more stitching you put on, the more compact it gets. And I actually, this is what I like. you know, is the same as here. I love all these sort of these bits that it's very tactile, you know, and that's just tacked on there, look. All right, so I'm going to do 4 of them and then we'll go from there. So we'll know once I've got 4 and how far it'll go. As I haven't got any spare at all because that's too thick to cut down. So I've got my big roll, but I'm not going into that because this is special. This is something that I do when I get a bit bored. One day I will make a couple of journals out of it. Okay. But, oh, that top one is my friend's. I put hers on top because it's lovely. Mine's a bit naff. She done me that bit. But it's not naff, really. But, yeah, this is a little bit skinnier. I've done this one. Oh, gosh, I should have told you. I most probably have. What it is, I'm doing this part of the video first, yeah? And then I'm going back. It's a bit complicated because of having to get these done, really. I wanted a ruler. Yeah, so these ones are a bit bigger. So that's 4-inch ones, okay? Because 2 of those makes an 8-inch. So even if you want to do a cover for an 8-inch journal, it's plenty. But this one was like 3. Yeah, so it's beautiful, isn't it? Look. See, just all strips, and then you can decorate them after. See. Yeah, I didn't even join them up together, but you can. I've just done a big roll. So one day that's going to be a nice journal cover, you know, which will come out something like this one. You know, you can use all your rubbish underneath and then just put a bit of net over the top because it tones it all down. So it's a way of using bits of fabric up and everything. Oh, better put that back. Yeah. So when I got it over there, I think, oh, that's so beautiful, that bit. That's how she starts her snippet rolls. That's Tina from Hummingbird Tales. I'll link her video below because her snippet rolls are absolutely amazing. There we go. And her little envelope pouches too. They're amazing. Okay, right. So I'll go ahead and do 4 of those. And we'll go from there. Right, so I've done all 4 of those, which are 1, 2, 3. I've already cut one in half and half again. Don't take any notice of that for a minute. And then that's another one. And that was the other. Okay, that's all cut in half at the moment. Right, because I need about 9 inches, all right, on width. These are 24 inches, right, maybe slightly longer than that, okay, because I found out that for the size journal I'm doing, because I've taken it off of this one, which will fit one of my bigger journals, I need a piece to go all the way round this bit here, even though it's cut down, yeah. And I think it's about 23 inches. So if you do 24, then you know you've got enough, if you know what I mean. So that was a good length, but then you can still patch up. So, you know, don't ever worry if it's not quite that long. I mean, I'm going to cut this down because it's going to be easier to work with. I'll go back to that in a minute, but if you want to have a look at that. But that's, again, for my size of journal. I just sort of took a guide from that cover. All right, because these ones were a lot smaller and we had the journal already made. Yeah, and then we wrapped it around to see what we needed. And all these were already made, you see. Whereas I'm making it from scratch. And I won't be doing any hand stitching and filling in like that. I'm just showing you the basis because I can always do that a little bit after. I can cheat, but better always to do it first. Right, so to get my length, right, I think I did do similar with this with my fabric journal, which I will post that below because when you do a journal, you can take that one away, cut journal cover, okay, you cut like one of them down, and I'll cut one again, and then the straight bit goes underneath that layer, you see, and the same here. so that would go under there, and you stick that, and then you actually stick or iron it on to a lining. All right, but I'm not lining mine today, so that would go there. All right, so that would give you that length, and then you have loads left over to make your cover. But what I'm doing is just a journal cover. So there's that one, wasn't it? So I'm going to put, so I've cut one down. Yeah, so I've got half. Yeah, just measured it. I always put a line down with a pencil mark or a pen and then cut it that way, because else it's never straight. Let's have a look. And then that is going to go on there. I think I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to sort of measure it, because I'm going to have to glue mine on, right, because I'm not sticking it to anything. I'll go up there a bit. Do I like that? It's quite pink there. Never mind, this bit pink, I'll put something else over it. That's a bit bright for me. Let's have a look. I know. So I can look forwards. So I'll look at it that way. So make sure we cut that bit off, you see. So I'm going to, right, which is a little bit fiddly, stick mine together and then stitch it. Okay. Right, if you was doing all this by hand, you could actually cut that up, because we need a panel like 9 inches, but you can say 9.5 is fine. Okay, front panel is 7 inches, so you could cut that as your front panel. That's, yeah. And then you've got to have 14.5 for the back panel that goes all the way around. This is the bit that I find hard to show you. Okay, but all you've got to do is make sure you've got enough, or you patch up. Okay, but like I say, I started from scratch, whereas my sister had already done like panels like this, and then we cut it up and made what we made out of it. So, but I think I'm about right there. So I'm gonna sort of glue mine down a little bit. So I'm going to, oh, I cut that, put that in there, look. I'm just going to cut that away. Don't need that there. Stitch mine in. Okay. I just want to add a bit of glue all the way along there. I say this bit's a bit fiddly, but and I wait for it to dry before I sew it. And once this is dry, the machine has no problem going through it. So you've got to cover that straight edge. Yep. I think we're about right there. Don't have to be exact, as long as we got enough. Let's have a look. Make sure that's over there. Yep. So I got to put my head forward, folks, and I mean, you could stitch this bit first, yeah, and then stitch the other bit on exactly the same. So I might do that. Okay, so just easier to manage, that's all. And you're not got to worry about 2 pieces coming apart. So I'm going to flip mine over now. Make sure there's no glue there. I just find the 4-inch panels or 3-inch panels are just easier to manage through the machine and everything, and it makes it fun. So, and then putting them together is fine, you know, because you can add little bits here and there, because this is still not, you know, can sew it down a little bit, even with a bit of hand stitching or anything really. It's all good fun. Right, I've no idea where my top's gone. Okay, right. Oh, I still got doing some packaging today, packaging up me giveaway journals. Okay, right, I'll be back when that's all stitched then. All right, and then we put the other one, once that's stitched, put the other one down there, and I'll glue it on the same. Okay, that can go underneath that lot, or you can cut that all off. Okay, and then see which side you prefer. There, yeah, it's quite nice, isn't it? Might do that. Okay, lovely. So I'm gonna cut this end. All right, and then you've got bits to patch up if you need be. All right, I'll do it this side, I can see better. And that one lays over the top. Okay, and then like here, you see, after you've stitched it down once, you can actually, you know, put little bits in there and then stitch over that. So no problem at all. And then you can stitch all over this again, you know, and make sure all these are down and things like that, which, you know, I will do. And then I might cut my panels out ready and decorate those a little bit. All right, before we actually do the bag, but I'm not going to do too much, like I said, because of time. All right, I know people wanted this tutorial on how I done them, so, and I thought, oh my gosh, I haven't even got any of these these pages or anything done. So, you know, I was doing all this like for a few hours yesterday. So I shall go like, there's a bit here I don't like, so I would, you know, put a little bit of something over there. Actually, could even put that under, but that's too straight. I like a bit more jagged than that. Okay, right, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so that's all done, and look how nice that looks. I mean, yeah, we could do with stitching a few of them down, but that's no problem. This has worked out quite well, and you know, we could put a tiny bit of lace in a minute when I show you, because I'm going to trim all off that, and then I have bits left that we could, you know, you fill in, all right, anywhere, and then you could even put a few tack stitches, you know, rather than sew it with a sewing machine, because I think there's enough of this, that sort of stitching on there. It's quite nice to have a little bit of your own stitching. But I'm absolutely loving it. So the next thing we got to do, I definitely got the right length, because while the glue was drying before I sewed it, I made a template of what I wanted. And again, like I said before, I've taken it off of this one. Okay, so that back panel there, yeah, is about right. Yeah, which I've done. I mean, my journals end up about no bigger than 8.5 really, because I do print on my, in height, I do print on my laser, which I can have a little bit of a border, so I work on about 8.5. So this is 9. I've done my 9 inches, which I put it there, okay, because I don't want too much each side, a little bit. And I worked it out on the journal fitting in here, so, because this is going to be my cover when it's full. And so I worked out that's perfect fit. Yeah. Absolutely perfect. And there's quite a bit of space in there. Yeah, and that's quite a nice width too. So here we go. Right. Hope I remember how to sew it, because I've been like a day and a bit doing these bits, and I'm like, oh, I hope I remember how to put it together. No, I'll message Janet. I'll go, Janet, help. So the back panel is 9 by 14.5. All right, so you just got to make sure that fits on there. I mean, I'm going to trim it right down, and I think that'll be perfect. And then this is the other panel, which is, I bet I'm really confusing you, which is this one here. Okay, so we know the width is 9, so you just got to make sure you got enough. Yeah, and then we got a bit extra. Yeah, but I wouldn't cut this out. I want to know which bit I want and where I want it, if you know what I mean. But that is perfect. So what I'll do, I'll trim everything there, not the ends so much, leave those, but these bits here. All right, a nice straight edge. So I'll go ahead and trim that, because I've got to stand up, my head might be in the way. So right, so now you've got to that's all done. Okay, it's all trimmed down. I've still got scruffy bits there, because that doesn't matter, but that's all trimmed down. I had to stitch along there because I had some loose edges, so I've done that. I didn't have many on there because it looks like I went round a little bit, so that ends fine. I've got, now you've got to find out what bit you want it, like this bit here. Okay, so I'll do it on here, but you can do it over your journal. If you say you've done your journal, okay, and you're making a bag to fit, you think, right, I want that as the wraparound bit, but you can do your wraparound bit sort of about there. Yeah, and then you can always put some lace here to come down. All right, so you can do that, and then you can cut it. you're quite safe to do that, right? But I'll do it from this, because I thought, well, that's about right. So that could be my wraparound bit there. Well, you know the length because I've got a template, but so that could be my long bit. Do I want that there, or do I want that? This one's right the way down where you don't, because once the journal's in there, you see it will come up. So no, I like the other bit. Okay, so that's going to be my long bit. All right, so I'll put my long template in first and then cut it. Okay. And I'm just going to do a little bit of leeway. That's it. And then we cut that. So that's my long bit, and then we'll find out which bit you want this panel to be. So you can have, I mean, this will be trimmed anyway, but you can have that there, or you can have, I quite like it that way. Yeah, so I shall put my template down there and cut that. Okay. Right, so we got a panel there, okay, and then we got our other panel, which I think it was like that, wasn't it? Okay, and that goes down to there, and now we need to do panel all the way around. Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, it's got some little bits I might need them to fill in, so I shall keep them handy. Right, so that's those two bits. And then we want one, well, I don't know how thick my journal's going to be, so I think it won't be any bigger than this. So let's measure that. I have no idea what that is. A little bit of, you know, for this, so Right, so these you trim down both sides, okay? You want them straight, and then you've still got some other bits to fill in if you want, okay, on these. Make another one out of that, make a little one. Okay, so I'm going to trim both sides of this down. Right, so I've done that. Okay, and any loose bits, I just stitch a very open stitch all the way around, okay, just to keep that in place. If there's any bits that really need sticking down here, then I'll just put the machine in and do a little bit, you know, like I did there. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, just to anchor that down. But if not, you can hand stitch. And then if you've got some really long bits, you can give it a bit of a trim, but I quite like that sort of texture. I don't think there's anything on a little bit there, look. Okay, just check. So if it makes a big hole, then you've got to stitch something over the top of it. I cut mine down to 3 inches, okay, because I thought my journals do usually go quite thick. So I think this one here, that's one of Janet's, the one we've done here, even though I'd rather it a little bit bigger and then put the elastic in, okay, because this was quite a small journal. Right, normally mine are a bit fatter than that, so just that these are designed to be a bit smaller. So I worked it out on that, and that was about 3 inches. Okay, so I've cut it down to about 3, and then if you go to about 2 3/4 by the time you stitch it and everything, then you still got a little bit of leeway. So that's what come up. I do it with one of these disappearing pens, you know, they're for embroidery and that. And I just mark all the way down and cut it. That's how I find I cut straight. Okay, if I do it freehand, I don't. So that is that done. So that is our thing to go around. Right, now we've got to start the lining. This is the bit that always gets me on things like this, okay? I always struggled with lining handbags, and when I've done them before, I just gave up in the end. But Janet went through it for me, so I hope I can do it in the video. Any quilters out there will know about back to back and all that sort of thing, but I'm not a quilter. I'm not even a sewer until, you know, I was more embroidery years ago. I've done a lot of embroidery work, but I'm absolutely rubbish now. It's my eyesight's not good, so machine it is with me. I don't mind doing a little bit, but I'm not brilliant now. Right, okay, here's me lining. And I remember Janet saying, always do the lining bigger, because that can be all cut down after. Okay, right, I've got to find out where my top, which bit I wanted at the front. But we'll do the small panel first. Okay, so I quite like that. So I think that will be up there. Okay, right, that's going to be, oh, it's going to be like that, isn't it? Silly me. Okay, right, so that's going to be that panel. See, I nearly done it wrong, didn't I? It's going to be that way. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be that panel there. That's fine. Okay, right, and to iron it, and I'm not sure whether this is heat resistant, I can't remember. I'm just going to iron it a bit. So you need the iron in a minute. So we do back to back, but this one doesn't matter because it's both the same. So that's going to go there, like so. Okay, don't worry about that. Cut that off. Okay, and I'm going to stitch that together, because then that flips over. All right, this is a bit I always get puzzled at. Right. I'm going to do that now. So I'm just going to do a running stitch all along there. Okay, and then flip that over. So it goes like that. Then you do your little bit at the top, which is depending how big you want it, but it's like that. Yep. So just to get that straight, I think that looks quite nice like that. And then you iron it. If you've got silky fabric here, be careful, okay? Then stitch along again, okay? And that's your lining. That one. I done it. Right, just to let you know, when I went down there, I'm supposed to have gone all the way around as well. Okay, did forget that when I was looking at it. But anyway, I must stress, if you're going to do anything on here, I would do it before you put the lining in. All right, and then your lining is lovely and neat. Okay, what I might do is just put a little bit of something over here, because don't really like that bright pink there, so I might get some of my straggle bits. Let's have a look. And lace as well. Not down here so much, but if you want to put some lace down or anything, I'm going to put that on there. Okay, so I'm just going to stitch that on here. Okay, I mean, you can do all your hand stitching and put some different things on, you know, and all that, but I'm not, like I said, it's just going to be a very plain one. Right, yep. So, and then, sorry, that's where I've got, and then after I've done that, I'll cut that down and then I'll stitch all the way around, and that's my lining bit done. Okay, so that's that one, and then of course I'll trim down, you know, whatever was left. All right, so we got my lining on that piece, and we'll do the same with the other. Just, you got to check, right, because that's the panel underneath. This is going to be the flap, isn't it? Okay, so you check which way you actually want it to go. I want it that way, so I've trimmed that edge straight there, and then I'll do the lining the same as that one. Here it is. So give that a bit of an iron first. Right, so that was my end, wasn't it, that I wanted. So again, this is bigger than it should be, but that's fine. That end butts up to there, back to back, Andrea. Okay. And then stitch down there. Just gonna give it a bit of a press. So it's a bit straighter. There we go. And so I'll go and stitch along there now. As you said, yeah, always make it a bit bigger because you can cut it down, because sometimes it moves and things like that. So it's a little safety thing. Okay, and exactly the same as the other one. And you can make this as big as you want. Like on one of Janet's, this made that quite big, so I think she might have extended it or something like that. I don't know. That seems to... Okay. Then you can still add lace after, so if you need to. Not on this bit, on the other bit. No, it is this bit, isn't it? If you're a bit short on your panel, like I was on one of them. See, I do suggest you watch this video all the way through. I'm learning as I go along, you know. Okay, and now stitch all the way around. Okay, and cut down the sides, and that's our two panels done. Okay, that's all done. Okay, stitched around, and then a little bit there, but look, I will say, if you're not a very straight cutter or anything like this, honestly, it is so forgiving. Plus you can actually trim it off before you sew over sew, you know, here you can actually trim around. Okay, so don't worry. I found that out. Okay, so that's done. Right, so this is our front bit. Yep, it goes like that. Then that bit goes there, and now we've got to do the panel that goes in this bit here. Okay, and you know, we've got plenty here. I'm not sure, because most probably the journal will come to there, and then we can always put a little bit more lace on here or anything. All right, that's no problem at all. But so far so good. It's looking like a pouch. And that's the main thing. Right, so now we've got to do the same with the bit that goes around. Okay, so I need to find a longer piece of lining. My lining piece sheet was only about 18 inches, and it's not enough. I need a bit longer, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I'm going on this one. All right, so I just have a bit of overhang, bit of leeway. I think, yeah, we got a bit there, because there we go. That's fine. Right, so that's that bit, and I've got my lining fabric. Okay, and these, Janet says, do not backstitch at the beginning and end. All right, because you have to sometimes unpick that bit, cut off, and then you tuck it underneath. So it's literally, you just stitch the lining on that way and stitch it on that way. Yep. And I might actually do it there and then cut down that side. Okay, I only got to cut one side then. No. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, and leave these open. No back stitch on the end. Right, so I'll go and stitch that on. Okay, so that's all done. All right, and that's nice and loose at the top there, in case we want to cut that. Okay, I'm hoping I get you all I'm hoping I get it all in. Right, this is the bit I found a little bit tricky. Okay, because that's got to go all the way around there. Okay. The best thing to do, which Janet suggested, is, you know, don't worry about lining that up, because that's why you leave it open, so you can actually cut that the right length, and then that then becomes the right length too when you fold that in. Okay, so you have to, so I'm going to start away from this, all right, because that's the bit you can finish off by hand. All right, and then that goes all the way around like that. Okay, all right, because that's your panel. So, and when we come to here, you have to sort of twist around and go very slow. So I'm hoping I get that in. All right, so I'll come down below that hem there. Okay, oh, I need to loosen off a bit, because I just turned my machine off to move it. Right, this is the bit that gives me very bad back, so because I'm skew width in the chair when I sew here. So, but anyway, it's not too much. Right, I think I've slowed it down a bit too much. Oh. We are definitely on slow-mo there. Okay. I'm only going slow purposely. Plus there's 2 lots of fabric we're going through and lining. Right, so you get to the corner. Sometimes you have to give it a bit of a tug. Just before the corner. Okay, and you lift up. Okay, so this is the bit I do find tricky. Okay, because we've got to, I'm just pulling it out, and then we've got to turn it, and then you cut the corners off after. Let's have a look. I think I'll go down a bit further. Sorry, I did cut the thread because I thought, am I doing this right? I can't remember. And then we've got to do it really slow to go around a corner. Right, so now I'm moving, yeah. So I'm going to move it around, okay. So that's why you need to lift your lever up, okay. You start lining up there. You do sometimes need to give it a bit of a tug, but I'm all right there. And then you start going down here. Sometimes you miss it a bit, and I'm just going to come in just a little bit. And do the same the other corner. Come up to the corner, yeah, lift up. Sometimes you need to take the needle out as well. All right. Oh, Tina's just fell down. Call that one Tag Tina. That's because Tina made it for me. Tina at Hummingbird Tail. So you just have to sort of like push a little bit. All right. And you cut the corners off after. Then I'm just gonna do a couple of stitches. Right, and then I'm going to come round again. All right, like I say, that is the trickiest bit. Yeah, like I said, it's all very forgiving. And again, I only come up to there, okay. I can back stitch that bit. Yeah, and cut off. Okay, there we go, you see. And because you can trim those after, yeah. That's on there. Now we do the other side. Okay, I know there's overhang, but like I say, we just unpick that and then you get it the right length. Okay, the other side, Janet says to start in the middle. For some reason, I said it doesn't work. Right, I'll just go a couple of minutes just to fathom out where I'm going, and then I'll be back. So I think I've got it. Okay, so we've done that now. Okay, so if you flatten that, okay, like so, right, we can find the middle. Okay, so you put those two corners together, yeah, and I've got the middle, and then just run your finger along there. Okay, it should leave a little bit of a crease mark here, see. Okay, so we've got a middle there. Then that's the front flap, so you do the bottom. Okay, that's your nice bit that goes there. So you find the middle of that bit. Okay, apparently this is quite important. Then you match that line up with that. Okay, because that's got to sit in there, see, in there, and that's got to sit in there, as it doesn't work out, Janet said. So, and then you start going around that way. It doesn't matter once you've lined up and you've got hold of it. It doesn't matter if you start exactly in the middle now. It's just that you have got the two pieces together. Okay, let's see where I am. Yeah, we're up to that corner there. That's good. That's good. So you can check your corner. Okay, that's sitting in there sort of nicely there. Yeah, so we know that's okay. Yeah, that's the bit she went wrong on the first one, I think. And then just thought, oh, if I go from the middle, and then I'm okay, because that gives me a bit of, you know, I can manoeuvre it a bit or something. I can't remember. And then you stitch the same. Just get everything sort of out of the way. Okay, coming up to the corner now. Yeah, you get a bit of a lump here, you know, but you can still manage it. All right, I'm just going to pull that around. I'm just going to lift a little bit, and you do a couple of stitches. I'm just going to pull that around. Sometimes you miss it, but I just over sew my hands, you know, hand sew it. So I've got a bit hanging out there. That we can cut that off after, because we're going down. Oh, I'll check that in a minute. Let me just get around the corner. I'm too far ahead. That's it. And then maneuver it again. Where's my stitching end? I can see where my stitching ends, so I'll sort of end similar. Yeah, like I said, you can undo and then do it by hand. A little bit more. Okay, I'm just cutting off. Right, there we go. So, like I say, those bits can be rounded off. All right, but that's nicely in there. Yeah, and then we do the same the other side. So I'm going to do it that side now. Okay, from the middle. Okay, so that's the bit with, sorry, I had a coughing fit there. That's the bit we've just done. Okay, so I now turn over, match up, and over sew that little middle bit, so you don't leave a hole. I'm going to go back there and then, okay. Okay, I don't know whether you can see. All right. Just being careful here, because this is the hardest bit to do. All right, I'm pulling over. All right, so to match up these edges here, just going to come over it just a little bit more. And then have a little look. All right, we're nearly on the edge of the cut. See, okay, so we lift up. And I'm going to actually just do a couple more stitches. Okay, and then pivot round. Get this out of the way so you can see. And flatten it all. And then just make sure, yep. So I'm around about here, so not to go back. I'm so used to going back. Okay, right, there we go. Oh, right, let me get the machine out of the way. Okay, and we'll trim off the corners. Oh, that corner come out really well, look. Didn't have to take any off that. Right, okay, I'll get the machine out of the way, because that's sort of basically done, really. Right. Okay, so here's our bag. Yeah. So what we got to do is trim off the corners. Let's have a look. A little bit there, I suppose, but not much. There. sort of round them off. That one's not too bad. There, and that one's fine. Okay, like that there. Right, so that's that bit done. Okay, now we've got to do these side bits, right? Okay, and this is where you can actually trim up if you want to, but like I say, the over sewing actually, you know, you can over sew with machine or blanket stitch or something, which is quite nice. I actually quite like it how it is. Right, okay, what we do here. Sorry, I haven't got any, I haven't got a needle undoer, you know, a thread undoer, whatever they're called here. I don't know where it is. So what you got to do, all right, that one's all right, but we've got to cut this down, yeah. So you need to undo this stitch in here. That's why we don't tie off at the ends. Okay. A bit naughty, really. Okay. And then look where you want it, which is, you can see better there, look. Okay, you leave that for a minute. That needs to be a bit longer. So let's cut that down. Tuck that in. Yeah. Okay, it sort of runs along that edge there. Making sure I'm not cutting anything else. So we cut off that level now. Yeah. Let's bring that out. Okay, and we can trim some of this off. Don't need all that. Now, okay, and then if you want to put your elastic in, you do it now. All right. That goes there, and then you hand stitch that bit. Okay. And stitch that bit down there, and then if there's anything that's sort of like you need to mitre that, you can mitre that in the corner. Okay, and then once that's done, once that's hand stitched along there, you can sew this up. Yep, up to there. All right, and that makes that all nice and neat, and that runs maybe a little bit shorter there. All right, I'm going to put some elastic in mine, I think, and then sew it in. So I need to go and charge my iPad. It's dying. Right, so again here, so if we need to unstitch, just unstitch it a bit. Okay, I think I'm all right that side for some reason. And I'm going to trim a bit of that off. If you want a really nice edge, you can put a bit of lace on there. Okay. You can actually tuck that down there. A minute, I'll show you. Forgot about that. Just remembered. So that's really neat then. So instead of going inside that way and then you see it, you can turn inwards and tuck that down. So once we get the length we want. Oh, it's hard to show. Right, so it's about there, I think. Yeah, tuck that inside there. And that would be even neater, wouldn't it? But I am going to mitre that off. Because there's a hole here, see? Yep, need to come up a little bit more. Okay. There we go. And then we stitch that. And then we got a hole each side. Put my elastic through. Okay, in case it's a little bit too big. Right. Okay, I'll leave it now. Okay, I'm going to do that, and it's better. I prefer that, and then we got a nice inside there. The one I done, I actually left it on the inside, but I prefer that. So just tuck that in. Okay. Right, so I'm going to stitch along here. All right, leave a bit there so I can tuck the elastic in. Okay. There we go, and then that'll be stitched together. Yes, perfect. Right, okay, I'll go and get my charger. Right, so I've done that. I don't know whether I'm too close for that, but yeah, just stitched along there and then put some elastic in and sort of over sewed the edge there. Same as in there. It's not neatest, but never mind. There's nothing in the journal, so I just packed out with some stuff. So I'm like, yeah, that's about the size of my journals. I would say I could do most probably get away with this a little bit narrower next time. I'll do, instead of I've done 3, didn't I reckon 2.5 would be all right, you know, because there's plenty of room in there. But I do know that my journals get quite big, so, and then I suppose you could stuff other things in there. Sorry, it's not very good because of, but there's plenty of room. There we go. The height is nice, yeah, like that. Shove that in, and that's good. And then, so all we've got to do now, okay, is you either blanket stitch all the way around here. I would most probably cut these corners off and blanket stitch all the way around, or over sew on your machine. I'm going to over sew mine because I haven't got time to blanket stitch, but I might add a few bits, you know, a bit more applique around. But I absolutely love it, and it's great. So very, very nice. It's like a mini handbag, isn't it? I think actually Tina's having hers made into a bag. she had like blues and all that. She said, oh, I want a handbag. So that's what I mean. So you can, you know, like I say, decorate a little bit more and everything. I mean, I can get away with, you know, skimming the top and going in between the layers. So I think I'll be all right to decorate a little bit more, but that is the principle of them. So what I'll do, I'll over sew the edges and everything and then come back to you. And tonight I might actually just add a few things and then show you again like tomorrow. Right, okay, I did manage to do a little bit last night decorating, not too much. I just put these things on. These are already made, so I was fortunate there. So, and then I put some lace down here. I will either put a button on here or down here when I finish the journal and it goes in, and then we can go from there. So you'll later see this. Did I do anything on the back? No, I didn't. I think I just, no, I didn't. Oh, I know where I've done a bit here under there. Sorry folks, I knew I'd done something else. There we go, because I cooked roast dinner last night and then just done a bit of sewing last night, just in keeping with the mismatch, if you know what I mean, of everything. So I love it. Yeah, so that'll hold quite a chunky journal, but like I said, we can go in a bit here, but the principles are all exactly the same. And actually these were like quite flat, look, put them in like a bag, and then until we need it. Get that straight, might give it a bit of an iron, get everything sort of straight, if you know what I mean. Yeah, love it. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, I did warn sewers at the beginning of the video that not to watch 'Cause I'm a junk journaler. And I do like making things. I love my machine, but I do not and will never class myself as a sewer. But I like things to look sort of, you know, jagged and rough, really. But that fits beautifully. And I mean, it gives me enough room, you know, in here to store different, you know, a bit more stuff when I send my journals out. And I just think, yeah, that's a nice way to send them out, isn't it? Better than a plastic bag, which I have been doing. So, love it. Okay, thank you very much then. And I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.